This week, we return with the Xfinity Series. In the last episode regarding the Xfinity Series, AJ Allmendinger would get redemption for 2021 and win the championship. But in 2023, the top three drivers from the previous season of AJ Allmendinger, Noah Gragson, and Ty Gibbs would all leave for the Cup Series. And this left the Xfinity Series wide open for the taking. And with the most stacked Xfinity field in years having 29 full-time drivers, and with some stars returning like John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer, Parker Kligerman, Brett Moffitt, and with new talent such as Chandler Smith and Sammy Smith, this Xfinity Series season could be the best ever. So with that, let's look at the 2023 season with no playoff format. In the opening 6 races of the 2023 season, we had 3 full-time winners. Austin Hill would win the first 3 out of 5 races at Daytona, Las Vegas, and the Atlanta Superspeedway. John Hunter Nemechek would claim his first win of the season at the final Xfinity race at Auto Club, and Sammy Smith would win his first career race at the Phoenix Raceway. So after the first 6 races, unsurprisingly, Austin Hill would be at the top of the standings by 2 points over Riley Herbst, with finishes of 1st, 6th, 1st, 7th, 1st, and 37th. Just when everyone thought Riley Herbst was taking that next step, this happened.
Chandler Smith through to second. Oh boy. And a little bumper tag in the corner, and we got one going around. Brandon Jones, Riley Herbst. Cautions breed cautions. This is our 5th of the day.
And with Herbst getting caught up in an accident and with Hill finishing 9th, this gave John Hunter Nemechek the points lead by 4 points over Austin Hill. At Martinsville, Nemechek would set himself as a championship contender by dominating the race and winning, and now had a commanding 23-point lead over new second place Josh Berry. At Talladega, fun fact, I was actually at this race, all of Nemechek's positive momentum would come to an end.
Absolutely big racing supporter. And it's gone all out.
There goes one. John Hunter Nemechek out of line. Hard contact with the inside wall.
That's a big hit to the driver's side. He almost had it turned around and signed to come back up.
You can see it's broke the rear track bar of the car that controls the rear suspension laterally. That's why you're seeing it shake back and forth. You heard him come over the radio and say he's okay, which is good to hear.
Even though he would finish 32nd, Austin Hill would limp his car to an 18th place finish and was now second, just 9 points back. At Dover, Hill finished 4th while Nemechek finished 5th, and the gap shrunk to 7 points. At Darlington, the 2 drivers finished 4th and 5th but scored the exact same amount of points, and Nemechek still had the lead by 7 points. At Charlotte, Nemechek finished 2nd while Hill finished 4th. And with 12 races into the season, Nemechek would have a narrow lead over Austin Hill. At Portland, Hill finished 5th while Nemechek finished 10th, and the gap was slashed to 5 points. At Sonoma, Hill finished 8th and took the points lead by 3 points over Nemechek, who finished 16th. At Nashville, Hill finished 4th while Nemechek finished 6th, and the gap grew slightly to 6 points. At the Chicago Street Race, Nemechek finished 2nd while Hill finished 5th, and the gap shrunk to 3 points, with Hill in the lead. At Atlanta, Nemechek would win in Austin Hill's playground while Hill finished 12th, and Nemechek took the lead back by 11 points over Hill. At Loudon, Nemechek won the race while Hill finished 3rd, and the gap after 18 races was 18 points, with Nemechek on top. At Pocono, the championship battle would get a lot more interesting.
Back to green, and they fan out. 2-3 wide, back in the back.
Line of contact.
They're into the wall.
That's a 0-0. I believe the 20 as well.
Yeah, John Hunter's bid for 3 in a row is going to end with a wreck here on the front stretch.
And that's, that restart looks so similar to last week at New Hampshire, but this week it was really a product of the older tires on the front row and several rows, right? Rows 2, row 3, everybody's sitting there trying to build traction, trying to get the throttle down, spinning tires and not going anywhere. And here comes the rest of the field behind them on new tires, a lot of stack up.
Nemechek would finish 32nd, and the worst possible thing for him happened, with Hill winning the race. Austin Hill was now in the lead by 17 points. And at Road America, Nemechek's luck would get even worse.
Chaos at
Pit Road America. John Hunter Nemechek, the championship leader, on pit lane now after an off and damage to his Toyota.
Water coming out of it. Here it is. Oh gosh.
Yeah, we talked about yesterday as we watched Ryan Sieg just get off that the damage you don't have to hit a wall. Just getting off the course and what damage you could get. And then, of course, we see
Nemechek would end up 34th while Hill finished 3rd, and the gap was now 48 points. At Michigan, Nemechek bounced back with a win while Hill finished 11th, and the gap was now 33 points. At the Indianapolis Road Course, Hill finished 4th while Nemechek finished 13th, and the gap was now 42 points. At Watkins Glen, Nemechek finished 6th while Hill finished 14th, and the gap was now 34 points. At Daytona, both contenders would have their own troubles.
And now behind the wheel with 2 laps to go. Allgaier on the inside, Bain on the outside. A clean restart. Hill goes up. He blocks the 19. They catch the 2, and the 1 goes around. The 19 of Bain sliding to the inside. Caution has come out. We see the 22 of Jeff Burton also involved. Cole Custer tried that inside line. He had the momentum. Now he's got a little bit of help from Greg Galding behind him, and then we've got another issue. The 92's around. John Hunter Nemechek in the 20s involved. Josh Berry in the 8 also with damage. Jeff Burton more damage in the 22.
Big fire right there. He's got to stop.
Nemechek would wreck out and finish 28th, while Hill wrecked on the penultimate lap and ended up 23rd with 9 races left in the season. Austin Hill just had a 59-point swing and was now in the driver's seat of this championship. At Darlington, the 2 drivers finished with the exact same amount of points and the gap remained at 41 points. At Kansas, Nemechek had a commanding win while Hill finished 5th, and the gap was now 32 points. At Bristol, the championship picture would be completely flipped.
First, it was Junior Motorsports drivers that got into each other. Now, Richard Childress Racing drivers that have gotten into each other, and Austin Hill is on pit road.
Yeah, you can see right here the 2 of Sheldon Creed running the bottom of the racetrack, Austin Hill on the top. They're going to come together on the corner on the exit, and the 2 just gets up into the 21 and spins him around. That's just a mistake you can't make. These are young drivers. This is the Xfinity Series, and it's about growing and learning, but you're both in pretty good shape here. And just contacting the left rear quarter panel. Richard Childress is not going to like that.
With Austin Hill's teammate Sheldon Creed wrecking him, he finished 33rd, while Nemechek finished 3rd, and the gap was now just 1 point with Hill on top. At Texas, Nemechek won a wild race while Hill finished 7th, and Nemechek took the lead back by 9 points over Hill. At the Charlotte Roval, Nemechek finished 8th while Hill finished 9th, and the gap grew to 11 points. At Las Vegas, Nemechek finished 2nd while Hill finished 7th, and the gap was now 16 points. At Homestead, Miami, Nemechek finished 3rd while Hill finished 4th, and the gap grew slightly to 18 points. At Martinsville, despite being up front late and looking like he was going to win, his teammate, once again, would cost him.
Now Creed pushing the 21 up the racetrack. They're side by side. Creed has to win to make it into the championship 4. He's never won in the Xfinity Series. They smoked the tires. Here comes the 7. Contact made. The 7 of Allgaier on the inside. Creed, Allgaier's going to win at Martinsville.
With Austin Hill's teammate wrecking him again, this would drop him for maybe a 1st or 2nd place finish all the way down to 21st, while Nemechek finished 18th, and the gap going into Phoenix was 21 points. And all Nemechek had to do was finish the race in 17th, and he would be the champion. At Phoenix, Nemechek would run up front all day, while Hill ran from 5th to 12th the whole race. But at the very end of the race, the tides would turn.
John Hunter Nemechek, he mentioned his dad. We'll talk to him about strategy sometimes, but most recently he said enjoy the opportunity as the caution will come out. The 78 goes around Anthony Alfredo, and so now another restart.
This caution would cause a restart, and Nemechek couldn't have gotten more screwed.
Back to green. Great restart by the 0-0 on the 7. The 20 of John Hunter Nemechek goes so hard into turn 1, he slides up the racetrack. Here comes the 7. They're 3 wide for the lead down the backstretch. How will they come into 3? Allgaier aggressively goes into 3. Custer on the inside. Here comes Sheldon Creed. White flag one more time around. Custer's pulled out to the advantage. He needs a perfect 1 and 2. Allgaier higher, trying to keep the momentum up. Allgaier, he's getting a little pressure for second. Custer pulling away. Custer proving he deserves to be a part of NASCAR's elite. Today, Cole Custer is an Xfinity Series champion.
Because of this caution, Nemechek finished 28th with Hill running near the top 5. Austin Hill could win this championship, but he would finish 7th, and that would put them at a tie. And the tiebreaker would be wins, and Nemechek had 7 while Hill only had 4. And John Hunter Nemechek would win the championship by the skin of his teeth. In 2023, John Hunter Nemechek would complete his ascent back to the Cup Series. And with the Truck Series Championship in 2021, and then 2 years later coming back to the Xfinity Series and winning the title, and in 2024 going back to the Cup Series. But I don't want to completely write off Austin Hill. After all, he did come up just 1 point short of a championship. And one has got to think, his teammate Sheldon Creed definitely cost him this title. Whether it was wrecking him at Bristol and then brake checking him at Martinsville, you got to think what could have been. Anyway, John Hunter Nemechek in this timeline will become the 33rd champion of the Xfinity Series and would definitely prove himself worthy of a Cup Series seat in 2024. Well, that'll do it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for the final edition of the Cup Series.